Greetings, everybody, from a beautiful Colorado Springs, Colorado tonight. It is the USL Championship here on ESPN Plus, presented by Creative Consortium. It's the Colorado Springs Switchbacks taking on San Antonio FC. Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Boquin, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Well, the history of this rivalry has been one where the Switchbacks have improved quite a bit over these last 5 seasons, constantly making the playoffs now and pushing for trophies. But the one team that just keeps getting in the Switchbacks' way is San Antonio FC. James Chambers would love nothing more than to get that off their backs here tonight. The one thing that's already off of the backs for the Switchbacks is the fact that they've clinched a playoff spot for a 4th consecutive season. 45 goals scored, 10 home victories this season have helped to pace James Chambers' side, and they're hoping to finish their home slate with a victory against the team that just always seems to get them in the USL Championship here tonight. And our Keg One Modelo player to watch is the experienced Zach Zandy.
Yeah, we're ready to see what the midfielder is ready to do today. He has 3 goals already scored in the season, 4 assists, so he's really capable of just being that player that makes the difference in another starting game for him. And, you know, taking that lead when there's so many absence in the club.
We look at the Western Conference standings, and this game means a lot, Carmen, for both teams. Switchbacks trying to nail down a home playoff spot. San Antonio really needs a win to keep pace in the playoff chase.
It's going to be the true power of the necessity of getting these 3 points towards the end of the regular season. It's incredible how fast time has gone, and you know, we're going to see the best of both clubs trying to get these 3 points.
We're excited to see how it's all going to unfold. San Antonio, the last time these two teams met back in March, won at home by 2-0, keeping the script the same between these two teams in the Western Conference of the USL Championship. San Antonio has been unbeaten in 12 games against the Switchbacks, including 2 playoff games, and they'll hope that Lucho can help them lead the line and continue that tonight.
Definitely, the Argentinian forward is ready to do that. Lucho starting in his 12th match of the season, 3 goals already. And you know, just having that opportunities in terms of shots and shots on target, he has to make the difference today. Be more clinical about it and just try to go direct and score those goals.
It's a game that San Antonio really has to have if they're going to stay in the push to the postseason in the USL Championship. And can the Switchbacks finally get that Texas-sized monkey off their back against San Antonio tonight? The kickoff is coming up next.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
Natural gas ensures that when you need to heat things up, you can, but it can also be hazardous. That's why, in the event of a natural gas leak, you need to know the 3 S's. The first one, sound. Listen for the sound of hissing or whistling. Number 2, sight. Look for dead or discolored vegetation in an otherwise green area. And number 3, smell. It's hard to miss. Be on the lookout for a pungent odor like rotten eggs. If you notice any of these signs, leave the area immediately and call 911. For more information, go to csu.org.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
Colorado Springs Utilities serves electric, gas, water, and wastewater. If you combine all 4 services, you're paying around 11% less than anybody else on the Front Range. Water is the only one of our 4 services where you pay more. Since we have no river systems of our own, more than 70% of our water comes from Colorado's West Slope. Colorado Springs Utilities has delivered all 4 of these services safely, reliably, and at the best value to you for the last 100 years, and we will continue to do that long into the future.
Tonight's player walkout is sponsored by Children's Hospital Colorado. Moments away from kickoff here at Widener Field. Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Boquin back here with you to get this one started. But first we begin with the Phil Long starting lineups for both teams. We start with James Chambers and the Switchbacks.
You know, we were talking about, those players that are out for the international week. And of course, that makes a big difference. So a few substitutions for Colorado Springs in this match. There were 4 changes. So in for Lacaba, Binbeclair, Brigido, and Rios. Those are the 4 substitutions. We'll see how they adapt to the team and how excited they are to getting these opportunities in the starting lineup.
Similar things for Alan Marcina's side. International duty impacting it, injuries impacting the lineup as well.
Yes, and in here also a few changes, 3 to be exact. Coa Santos, Werman, and Sandy are starting. I'm guessing those modifications came in the match before, just to give the same idea, because these 3 players, they did have minutes in the last match coming from the bench.
Yeah, on the Switchback side of things in particular, lots of players gone because of international duty, most notably with the CONCACAF Nations League continuing into next week. For Alan Marcina's San Antonio side, it's a mix. Multiple players, most notably Juan Agudelo, out with injuries, and there's multiple players away on international duty, again, most notably in the CONCACAF Nations League. So both teams are going to be short on players, and James Chambers talked to the media earlier this week and said we just have to figure it out. There's no excuses. Have to go out there and win the game. And I'm sure Alan Marcina's sentiments are very, very similar. Kalen Radisov is our official. He gets us started here at Widener Field in Colorado Springs. The Switchbacks on Fan Appreciation Night are in black with the blue trim. San Antonio trying to make it 13 games unbeaten against the Switchbacks, dating back to March 23rd, 2019, are in white with the black stripe going down the chest.
And one thing about the absence of players due to injuries or international play, it has not only impacted the starting lineup, but it has also impacted the bench. There's only 5 and 4 per club.
That's about as low as we've seen for a USL Championship game this season. You mentioned it rightly, Carmen. Only 5 players are available off the bench for James Chambers. Only 4 players available off the bench for San Antonio in a game that they essentially have to win if they are to stay right there for a possible date with the postseason for the 5th consecutive year. That's going to be a foul committed against Aiden Rocha, and it's going to be a free kick for Colorado Springs inside of 2 minutes. Tonight's Keys to the Game are brought to you by Lau's Taco Shop, the official taco shop of the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And, well, Carmen, for Colorado Springs, they got to forget all of those prior matchups with San Antonio.
I think it's important because we've said many times 2019, which was the last time that they got a one against San Antonio. So it's going to be important to let that behind, know the moment that they're playing, that it's a different one, and that they're really capable of just trying to get the 3 points at home against a rival that has been really hard for them lately.
And we said 90 minutes of focus for San Antonio because, well, it showed again last time out. Had a 2-0 lead in Copa Tejas against El Paso. They let it slip. San Antonio tied for the most points dropped from winning positions this season with 22.
When you always talk about a statistic, sometimes, you ask yourself, why does it matter? Well, it matters a lot because at this point you can clearly see that they may have a good goal or playing a good game, but they're not capable of just completing the great 90 minutes.
Crossing to the penalty area was looking for Yosuke Hanya. San Antonio have it covered and the visitors have a throw. The last time out for the Switchbacks was just 3 days ago, a 2-0 defeat in Irvine against Orange County. Big reason why San Antonio is 4 points back of a playoff spot right now, sitting in 9th. It was a huge victory for now head coach Danny Stone, of course, formerly of Phoenix at the start of the season. How quickly things can change. course, we highlighted it earlier. Last home game of the season for Colorado Springs. They hope it's not the last home game of the entire season. They're pushing for a top 4 spot. That would see them host in the playoffs. Last time that Colorado Springs had hosting power in the postseason, they got to the Western Conference Final. But of course, they lost to San Antonio, who ended up winning the whole thing. That was a couple of seasons ago. Rod forward here for San Antonio. LaCava out to the far side. It's a throw-in. Tonight's injury report is presented by Common Spirit Health. None reported for the Switchbacks. That's more on the international duty side as far as the unavailabilities, but we mentioned it earlier. No Tainer, no Silva, but most notably, no Juan Agudelo, who has led San Antonio for most of the season in goals. He has 8 of them. He's not available tonight due to injury. And again, on top of that, there's multiple players not with San Antonio because of the international duty as well. So both teams are really going to be stretched as far as depth. And Carmen, you were telling me before we even came on the air, that could impact how this game is played for both teams.
Yeah, because you know you can't look at the bench, and that there won't be any bigger or better solutions than what you already have, without any disrespect whatsoever on the players on the bench, but you only have 5 and 4 respectively. So you need to take care of if you have an injury or something that you really need to find another player on the bench. So we'll see how they play with intensity in a game like this.
Yosuke Hanya was looking for a foul there. It didn't come. It's actually going to go the other way. Referee gives it to San Antonio on the near side.
Well, this is the Chippy early start of the match. It does seem like it's on the Colorado Switchbacks, but at the end he decides to go as a goal kick.
Yeah, Richard Van Bickler was on the cover for San Antonio. Referee had a back view of that. Ends up just being a San Antonio free kick to get it back upfield. Of course, Pablo Cisniega is also going to be pretty important tonight for San Antonio. Even with some of the numbers being diminished for the Switchbacks tonight, they do want this to be played at a bit of a quicker pace, and they have plenty of marksmen still out there that can score goals, as this is going to be a free kick also against Colorado Springs. Tejada is the guilty party.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem there's not even a tab. He just went around him. Maybe you could guess a little bit touch with his arm and hand, but at the end it was really more of a running around type of thing.
And then trying to find Lucho on this near side. We highlighted him earlier. Luis Solignac is going to be very key if San Antonio are going to get the 3 points they need here at Widener Field to have a realistic chance going into the final few weeks of the regular season to snag one of those last playoff spots in the West. 4 spots in the West have already been clinched. New Mexico, Sac Republic, Colorado Springs, and Las Vegas have all shored up a playoff spot. Most of them are fighting just for home field, most notably the bottom 3 of that list. Jesus Briguido plays an early ball into the penalty area, but it's too close to Christian Herrera, who's there before Jake LaCava.
From one Mexican to the other, opponents this night, of course, but clearly showing how San Antonio is trying to build a lot from that flank.
And Cisniega resets for San Antonio. There's been so many different reasons that San Antonio is where they are. Nobody had them outside the playoffs at the beginning of the season. If someone did, they might need to go get some lottery numbers. But what should be mentioned is that it's for a number of different reasons. Alan Marcinez dealt with injuries this season. Now, of course, with this week, it's been international duty. There's been suspensions throughout the season that have impacted it. Jorge Hernandez, for example, is suspended tonight because of yellow card accumulation. But Alan Marcinez said time and time again, similar to what James Chambers said in the lead up to this game, this team is still expected to figure it out, and they still have time and games to figure it out. But it's getting towards the part of the season with any slip up could be costly.
Yeah, and they had a really rough patch of 10 matches, only 2 wins in those 10. If you add 5 more, it was 3 wins, 2 draws, and 12 losses. So it was not a good path for them. They had those moments where they had good wins and then another loss, intermittent, but not regular. And that's what they've been lacking throughout.
And the inability to close games out. I mean, that stat we mentioned earlier, tied for the most points dropped this season with 22. Only El Paso has that many. And of course, they've now since been eliminated from postseason contention in the West. That also tells a story that we're just not used to telling with Alan Marcinez teams. They're the team that normally closes the games out. It's very rare that it's this poor in the opposite direction.
Yeah, and always that pressure plays a lot on the field, mainly in games so key like this one, in where you know you have a lot of absence. You want to prove yourself, and at least you want to end in not the worst position, because mathematically they could have options, but you know it's kind of complicated to see many more of the clubs on top to be losing.
Here's Hanya for the Switchbacks, playing in Koa Santos, and Santos wins a throw-in on the near side. 2 assists so far this season for Koa Santos. He's back onto it here. There is Zach Zandy, the veteran. Had a very serious injury that kept him out for so long, and he's been a huge part of the Switchback success this season in return. Here's Hanya. Kept the ball alive, got past a couple of challenges, and Colorado Springs will settle for another throw-in. From the throw, Santos, Tejada is headed away by Kendall Burks, and San Antonio does clear it. Matt Mahoney resets for Colorado Springs. And Kalen Radisov is actually going to stop the play here. I think it's because there's a player down for Colorado Springs away from the ball, and it's Zach Zandy, who we just talked about. Well, maybe he just needed a moment.
Yeah, it happened in this one. It seems there's a little bit of a push from Burke over there, and then the fall was hard, really hard.
Yeah, Zandy didn't have enough time to brace himself. Hopefully nothing too serious there. He's able to run it off. Brief look there at the Irish head coach of Colorado Springs, James Chambers, who's just done another marvelous job. The ups and downs that the Switchbacks have been through this season. I think some people might forget they started the season with 5 straight losses at the beginning of the campaign, and a lot of people get closer to the summer months, we're starting to count them out as far as a playoff team. Well, they silenced a lot of the doubters in these last 3 or 4 months. Here's Matt Mahoney striding forward, and it could be a chance on here. Maraca out wide. First time ball across. Mahoney was the one in the middle. You don't normally see that. But in the end, San Antonio get the possession back. Rahida out to the far side. Oh, Matt Mahoney playing a little midfield into a center forward role briefly there. He has scored once this season for Colorado Springs, but he's more known for his defensive acumen, the captain for the Switchbacks.
And when you have absent players and you give opportunities to another and have to, you know, try to make it out of it, this is where you can get a few surprises like this one.
Tejada was trying to start another Switchbacks counterattack. Referee deems that he committed a foul. Cole Maraca asking the question of the referee there. Although based on the signal that the referee just gave to Maraca, it might have actually been an offside flag that went up there. And Cisniega sends it forward. There was one just ahead of Lucho. Pieces picked up by Omar Gray. Gray's cross is blocked, and it's going to be a corner on the far side. So it's going to be a corner on the far side for San Antonio. It's a McDivitt Law Firm corner. We're in your corner. Jesus Brejida into the penalty area. Headed away by Santos. Volleyed back towards the goal and sent, well, almost out of Widener Field. It's a goal kick. Ended up being an ambitious effort, I believe, from Luke Hawkinson. It's going to take more than that to beat Christian Herrera.
And you can't blame Hawkinson, you know, if you get a ball like that one, just go directly, send it to the goal. And this one, he didn't touch it appropriately, ended up sending really wide. And the crowd just sending the message also of the little boo over there for him.
Now, we, of course, mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a dozen games unbeaten for San Antonio against Colorado Springs, including the last game they played March 23rd earlier this season, a 2-0 victory in Texas. Last time the Switchbacks won was March 23rd, 2019. It was a 1-0 victory, as that's going to be a foul going James Chambers' side way on the near side. The goal scorer, as we look at the replay here with Hanya,
just playing really fast, and there's no doubt the fall over there done by Daniel Rios.
So it's a free kick for Colorado Springs. Free kick scoring opportunities brought to you by Underline, delivering gigabit fiber internet, underline.com/COS. Cesar Romero, Honduran international, was the last player to score a winning goal for Colorado Springs against San Antonio back in 2019. That was a year before COVID started, March 23rd, 2019. Feels more than 5 years ago when you say it like that, doesn't it?
Hey, it feels like a century ago sometimes.
It's really been the one thing that the Switchbacks have not been able to accomplish in these last few seasons. The other thing, of course, is much more tougher, which is to get to a USL Championship final. Of course, during that 12-game unbeaten run, they include 2 defeats against San Antonio in the playoffs. Here is Zach Zandy for the Switchbacks. Played it back towards Quincy Huerman, and it's almost dispossessed, but Delence Pierre and company reset. Huerman again switches the point of attack to the near side. At least he's able to pick out Hanya. Now Santos. Santos through the lines. Little backheeled flick for Zandy. And then Quincy Huerman through the traffic. Tejada follows up. But Cisniega corrals it.
And you know, almost before this 20-minute mark, the first maybe big opportunity for the home team, just trying to get closer to that attacking third. Great way of Sandy just putting that ball and see if somebody else could get towards something better. As of now, just one shot in the whole game, and it has been from that one wired by Hawkinson.
Rocha forced to go all the way back to Herrera. Again, we're also going to be looking and keeping an eye on some of the other games going on tonight in the USL Championship. Of course, a game that many San Antonio fans will be keeping a very close eye on. Doesn't kick off until later on tonight. Oakland hosting Phoenix. 2 teams that San Antonio still has a realistic chance of catching are Orange County and Phoenix Rising. So regardless of the results, San Antonio will be keeping a very close eye on that one. Mahoney continues his run after finding Huerman on the far side. It's back to Mahoney on the edge of the penalty area. His initial cross is blocked. Mahoney just about keeps it alive for Zandy. Santos. Great ball into the middle looking for Tejada. And he was held off by Carter Manley.
And it was another good one. You know, the other one was built a little bit more on the left flank. This one just trying from the right, with Coa Santos being the key player. What a great ball he puts into the box. Looking for somebody, a teammate, to be able to, you know, connect the header and get something extra. They're getting closer to a better situation in terms of scoring a goal.
Good flick by Solignac, but it's won back by the Switchbacks. And of course, it is worked with Speedy Williams in the middle of the park, who's just been the constant. This Colorado Springs side, of course, had so much success with those John Hackworth Lou City teams of yesteryear, 17 and 18, and he's been one of the best players the league has had in the last 5 to 7 years. Lovely first time passing here from San Antonio. Solignac looks to continue the attack, and he wins a free kick. Huerman trying to take it off him, but the visitors will have a set piece in a pretty good spot.
It's clear the minute he took over there, just waiting for the right moment to face in that way a player, you know, that was just ready to be able to commit that mistake. Lucho just failing in that one.
Jesus Brejida will have a chance to provide the service into the penalty area. Quite a few players in white trying to get on the end of this. Ball's clipped into the penalty area. Herrera makes a clean catch in traffic.
And he has been really important in terms of save. You were talking about how they started and how they're going throughout the season. 82 saves, it's easier said than done.
Hanya, was he wrapped up there on the edge of the penalty area? Referee, let's play continue. Here's Williams for Santos. And Huerman forced to go back to Speedy Williams. Huerman from Santos. Threads it through looking for Hanya. And Hanya may have made contact with the goalkeeper. A couple of San Antonio players took exception to that. Cisniega got there first, and that's the reason that Yosuke Hanya has received a yellow card and tempers fraying in this 22nd minute of play.
And you know, when we were talking about the lack of players on the bench, this is one of the reasons. Hanya over here with extreme dangerous play ends up making a foul like this one and getting that yellow card.
I think it was the trailing leg of Hanya that clips him, and he gets a yellow card. The caution is sponsored by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe, which is probably what both teams need to do at the moment. Got a little testy there. But Cisniega did take a little bit of a shot from Hanya, though it didn't look very deliberate. Ends up being an on-field injury stoppage, which is presented by Common Spirit Health. Well, we've already given you a little bit of a glimpse into the reserves for both teams tonight. It's a short list. Switchbacks only have 5 players available. Only 4 of them are outfield players. San Antonio has only 3 outfield players available. And of course, both teams have a backup goalkeeper. It's Joe Rice for Colorado Springs, and it's Richard Sanchez for San Antonio. I don't think James Chambers and Alan Marcina want to use many of those
I don't know.
if they can help it, but they might have to.
When you put it that way, it sounds even worse than 5-4, because actually it's 4-3. You're
Yeah.
right, because one of those players is a goalkeeper for both clubs, so it's only 4 and 3 field players. Wow.
There's a scenario where both teams won't use their full allotted amount of substitutions tonight because they actually can't use it. That's so rare. We don't see that very often.
No.
That's going to deflect off of Santos, and it'll stay with the Texans on this near side.
And this can be a little moment for take it for the team, you know, because the players that started, they know how important it is for them to stay on the field and be able to take the time that they need, rest however they want, and maybe another one?
For multiple challenges, Quincy Huerman has received a yellow card, also brought to you by Diversis Health. Well, that's 2 players now on a booking for Colorado Springs.
And I think he had already talked to him, like, you know, this is a warning, next time you'll getting the card, and he eventually did get the card.
And mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Especially in a game like this, where there's not a lot of reserves to look at. Both Hanya and Huerman are really gonna have to be careful on those yellow cards. And then from the free kick, it's comfortable in the end for the Mexican international. Christian, beg your pardon, Herrera. Rocha trying to get the switchbacks going up the other end. Nice touch there in the midfield from Maraca. Huerman. Tejada's touch comes up short. And it's cleared away by Hawkinson. Now there's 5 live games going on in the USL Championship at the moment. Leads for Pittsburgh over Charleston. That's a game that Bob Lilly's side really have to win. Hartford leading North Carolina, a game that Brendan Burke's side really have to win, the former Colorado Springs coach. 0-0 at the half between Louisville and Tampa Bay. And Memphis and Sac Republic just got underway. It's 0-0 in Tennessee. Cisniega clears that away after Coa Santos tried to force the issue up the other end. Huerman thought about running onto his left boot and seeing where he could go. Finds Maraca. Far side Hanya. Maraca again. Nearly lined one up. Huerman's gonna line one up. And it's passed wide of the target.
And what different has it been since Maraca started playing a little bit more in the inside instead of attacking in that left flank, which was what he was doing when the game started. And it has given them more opportunities of winning back the ball and just putting it up front.
You might be able to tell by looking around Widener Field. Tonight it's fan appreciation night, and again, fans were encouraged to wear black, the same color that the kits are, of course, tonight. And many have obliged. It's always a great crowd and a great atmosphere here at Widener Field, and that's why James Chambers and his side really want to get home field advantage for the playoffs. Again, last time they had it, they were able to get all the way to a Western Conference final. You look at the all-time record since Widener Field opened back in 2021, they're approaching 40 home wins. Just a big reason why James Chambers and his side want to wrap up a top 4 spot. Again, Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Bokino, entire crew, happy to have you with us here. Widener Field at Colorado Springs, Colorado Springs trying to end this long drought without a win over San Antonio. And Zach Zandy's going to lay that one off for Huerman. Oh, not far away, but it goes wide of Cisniega's goal.
And that one was such a great first touch shot in terms of direction and sending it directly towards the goal with his left foot. It was gorgeous. Sorry he missed it, truly, because he just went wide by nothing. Maybe the best chance so far in this first half for the home team.
Quincy Huerman has scored 1 league goal this season. And he went for the header there and actually came down a little bit worse for wear. And this might be a check here from the referee. Just a quick talking to make sure Huerman's okay. And he'll continue on. It's going to be thrown back in by Reese Buckmaster. Solignac. Huerman is able to win it right back for Colorado Springs. Only for a moment. Buckmaster huffs it upfield. And again, it's too close to Christian Herrera, who's on the case. Near side, Koa Santos. Huerman's touch. It's a reset all the way back from Matt Mahoney, who's been very active in an attacking sense so far for Colorado Springs. Monte Hada from Hanya. And back again to Yosuke Hanya. Hanya to the byline, trying to play it across. A battle over who it came off of last. It's going to be a Colorado Springs corner on the far side. It's also going to be a Pepsi corner. Pepsi, that's what I like. And the Switchbacks will like that they have a set piece to work with here.
And the way that they won it with Hanya just, not letting it go, going until the end. The give and go was also gorgeous, by the way.
It's going to be Aiden Rocha on the corner duties here. A Widener Field drum roll as it's played in for Matt Mahoney! And it's a wonderful reaction save from Pablo Cisniega. Another corner upcoming.
This is a magnific save because to see the distance from where he gets that header is a few meters, 2 maybe. It's such a close range for him to react the way that he did with both of his hands and send it to the back for a corner kick. Wow.
T. Rowe Price corner here, invest with confidence. Take 2 for the Switchbacks. Huerman this time. Sends it right into the middle, it's flicked on. And touched away from Mahoney. Well, 2 close calls for the Switchbacks, and San Antonio thwarts both attempts. Mahoney on the near side. He was getting back in time to do his defensive duties. It's a full recycle with Rocha. A couple of half chances really for San Antonio, but we're starting to see the Switchbacks really begin to turn it up a notch here with Santos. Over the top looking for Tejada, just headed away by Burks. Tejada tracks it down. Tejada goes to work against Carter Manley. Hanya in support. And it's just too far out in front of Rocha. Lucho looks to take it up the other end. Can San Antonio bring the numbers forward here? Rios laying it off. Early ball towards the penalty area, finding Jake LaCava. Buckmaster Lovely give and go with LaCava. Good sliding challenge by Zandy. Huerman follows up. It's good close control to get the Switchbacks out of trouble, but then he couldn't link up with Santos. Maybe one too many of the trickery moves.
And Huerman is everywhere, you know. He's created those 3 shots, not on target though, but still, and now here just trailing back the ball, doing a lot of recovery job and defensive also.
You're seeing the likes of Huerman and Mahoney almost doing double duty, trying to go up and do the attack when they can, and then obviously getting back in time to take care of things in the defensive half.
It does feel like the intensity has been better than what we expected, you know, knowing exactly how important it is to get the 3 points for both of the clubs.
Hold up play from Luis Solagnac. And he turns and shoots. It was a bit ambitious even by his high standards. It's going to flash wide of the target. Now Lucho scored against his former club, El Paso, last time out when San Antonio took that 2-0 lead, but as we talked about earlier, they couldn't hold on in the end. Locomotive came all the way back in that derby game to get it to 2-2, which was the final score. Handball appeals come in from the San Antonio players. Referee says play on. Maraca for Delence Pierre. I'm sure James Chambers is happy that Haiti didn't ask also for Delence Pierre's duties for the international break. He's certainly a candidate.
Imagine, that would be another big player out.
That's why Ronaldo Damas and Duke Lacroix and others are out as we look at this last challenge. Was Carter Manley on Yosuke Hanya. Huerman's hold-up play. He's going to be stopped. He handled it. It's a San Antonio free kick. Well, the referee maybe took exception to something that Hawkinson said, either in his direction or maybe the direction of a Switchbacks player. He gets a quick talking to there.
Yeah, in the beginning he was talking, then he showed almost 3 consecutive cards, and now he's back to the just warnings.
Just to reiterate, especially in a game like this where there's just not a lot of reinforcements for either side, you want to keep as many players off of yellow cards as possible. Hanya and Huerman are on a yellow for the Switchbacks, and so far it's a clean slate for Alan Marcina's San Antonio FC. Long ball ahead from Delence Pierre, too long in the end, looking for Hanya. Of course, Colorado Springs, their supporters might be keeping one eye on that Memphis Sac Republic game. Colorado Springs still has a chance to catch Sacramento for the #2 overall seed in the West. Zandy lays it off for Santos, then gets it right back from him. Zandy weaving his way through, plays a lovely ball in for Huerman. Quincy Huerman cuts it back. Handball appeals come in from the Switchbacks players. No whistle from the officials here. Recycle for Santos. Cole Maraca lays it off, and then a shot comes in. And it's just wide from Aiden Rocha. Referee says, I think, that it took a deflection, and it's going to be a Pepsi corner upcoming. Pepsi, that's what I like.
And I was just reviewing the numbers from the referee. This is his 12th match. He has allowed 2 penalty kicks, 54 yellow cards. And here's the moment where we think there was a handball, but apparently it was just the front part of the body, so no handball. But I can understand how clearly the Switchbacks players thought it was.
Great refereeing by Kalen Radisov.
Well done.
Rocha will take the Pepsi corner. Goes right at goal, too close to the goalkeeper in the end. And it's corralled by Cisniega, who was on the scene. Headed down by Mahoney. It's a good hustle by Santos, but he's not able to keep it in play, just to the left of his coach. Talked about that Memphis Sac Republic game. It's actually a game worth watching for Switchbacks fans for two reasons. They're trying to catch, potentially, Sac Republic, but they're also trying to fend off the likes of Memphis and Oakland as well. Oakland playing Phoenix later on tonight for a home playoff game in the first round. A top 4 seed would clinch that. And a win tonight would put the Switchbacks in very good shape for that, going into the final few games of the season. Both, of course, will be road games for James Chambers' side. And to be fair, Colorado Springs has not been very good on the road this season. Another reason, an incentive to get home field in the playoffs for as many games as possible.
Yeah, they have. When you talk about 10 wins at home, it's always good. Only 3 losses and 4 draws. We'll see how this one ends. And they still have... No, they don't have more home games. This is the last one, right? The next one is Monterrey and Sacramento.
Which are both going to be teams who need the points, potentially, as well, down the stretch. Monterey Bay still within 5 points of that final playoff spot. Similar to San Antonio, they're going to need to basically win out, if not close to it, in order to get in and get some help as well.
And midweek, both of them played each other, ended up drawing 2-2.
Nice pass to find Matt Mahoney, who's in time and space here. First time ball in by Santos was a searching one, and it's headed out of play by Omar Gray, who I think maybe could have done a little bit better with that. He's conceded another Pepsi corner. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Yeah, I think Pablo Cisniega was telling him something about the way he ended up defending that ball. And like you said, just putting a little bit of more danger coming from these corner kicks.
4 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. Rocha is told to wait. The referee has some sorting out to do in the penalty area. Maraca has been summoned. Another word for Hawkinson. Rocha is ready. Goes to the near post, headed out. Volleyed back in by Zandy, and the flick goes just wide off the boot of Matt Mahoney.
And luckily for San Antonio, it didn't got mixed in there in that sea of legs with that shot.
Just saw there 7 goal contributions for Zach Zandy this season. He's always important in this James Chambers setup, but especially tonight, with many of the notables not available. Jairo Enriquez, Duke Lacroix, Ronaldo Damas, just to name a few that are not with the team tonight. As you mentioned earlier, Carbon, when that happens, you rely on your leaders and your more experienced players as best you can, and I'm not sure anyone is higher on that list than Zach Zandy. Maybe Speedy Williams would be the only other one in that conversation.
Yeah, and if you can't do that on your leaders, or you have to trust the players that you have, that they're come to the necessity of what the club needs in that moment, and take advantage of them, to showcasing themselves and proving what they're capable of doing towards the next season, and if they want to stay on the club, of course.
I think it's fair to say the Switchbacks have had the better of things in the first half, but still goalless to this point. Maraca in behind for Yosuke Hanya. On the layoff, Rocha. Maraca tried to get it back to him, and he was held up. Yellow card for Carter Manley for holding up that give-and-go attempt, and it's going to be a free kick in prime real estate here for Colorado Springs.
And that is also the first yellow card for San Antonio in the match.
It was actually very close to being in the penalty area. It wasn't, but it was close.
By a little.
Yellow card sponsored by Diverse's Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Of course, it's a free kick goal-scoring opportunity brought to you by Underline, delivering gigabit fiber internet, underline.com/COS. And there is quite the brain trust standing over this free kick. The likes of Huerman and Rocha and Williams and Moraka having a bit of a conference here. Led by Speedy Williams, which is no surprise. Even with all the players out, lots of options for the Switchbacks on who to take this one. Looks like Rocha and Williams have won that discussion in the end.
I did my best to try to see what they were saying, but my reading lips today was really bad.
Williams for Huerman. Huerman with the shot. And he sends it over the top and out of play. Well, you could see that was right off the training ground, but Huerman not able to test the goalkeeper.
But still, it was gorgeous. It's such a great play. He knew how to leave the mark behind, put himself there in the outside skirt of the box, and then just get that great shot with a medium range. Going wide though, but you know, once you practice this ones, eventually they ended up becoming a goal.
We jump into 2 added minutes at the end of the half, brought to you by the TikTok Shop.
More than fair, only 2 minutes. Yeah.
Good turn by Hanya in traffic, and he's actually knocked over. Switchbacks play on. Hanya stays down. Colorado Springs don't want to waste any time trying to catch San Antonio out. Mahoney, beautiful switch of play to find Williams on the far side. Speedy Williams chopping it towards the far sideline. Gets it back from Rocha. And then Moraka. Pierre scored that huge late equalizer at Pittsburgh a few weeks back to get the Switchbacks a point. Tejada deflected it off of Burks, who then clears it out of play. That'll take us down to the final minute of the half. Moraka. He'll switch the point of attack. Quincy Huerman. Another little give-and-go attempt. It's cut out, only as far as Williams on the clearance. Santos. Koa Santos. I think that was more of a shot. It was blocked away. Rocha. Final seconds of the half here at Widener Field. Koa Santos. Tejada keeps it going. Huerman. Surely the last attack of the half. Tejada just about keeps it alive and gets the shot away! Just over the top of Cisniega. And regardless of goal kick or corner kick, referee says that's that. This is the last play of the half.
And what a great way to end this first half. Just a little bit of what we saw during the whole 45 minutes, and it was possession, shots, corners, shots on target, almost everything on the side of Colorado Springs Switchbacks that have been, you know, just fighting against San Antonio, but not being able to score yet.
Well, no score yet between Colorado Springs and San Antonio in a game where really both teams could use 3 points tonight. Of course, for 2 very different reasons. The Switchbacks are pushing for home field in the playoffs. San Antonio wants to get to the postseason for a 5th consecutive season. Nothing to separate them at the half here in Colorado Springs. We'll have the Creative Consortium halftime coming up after the break.
crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at mcdivittlaw.com.
McDivitt.
Natural gas ensures that when you need to heat things up, you can, but it can also be hazardous. That's why, in the event of a natural gas leak, you need to know the 3 S's. The first one, sound. Listen for the sound of hissing or whistling. Number 2, sight. Look for dead or discolored vegetation in an otherwise green area. And number 3, smell. It's hard to miss. Be on the lookout for a pungent odor like rotten eggs. If you notice any of these signs, leave the area immediately and call 911. For more information, go to csu.org.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
Colorado Springs Utilities serves electric, gas, water, and wastewater. If you combine all 4 services, you're paying around 11% less than anybody else on the Front Range. Water is the only one of our 4 services where you pay more. Since we have no river systems of our own, more than 70% of our water comes from Colorado's West Slope. Colorado Springs Utilities has delivered all 4 of these services safely, reliably, and at the best value to you for the last 100 years, and we will continue to do that long into the future.
Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Boquin, our entire crew back here with you at the half, brought to you by Creative Consortium. 0-0 between the Switchbacks and San Antonio, with a big second half still to come. Now, before we look at the standings and all the rest of the things in the USL Championship, tonight's healthcare professional of the match is Terry Pyland, the manager of the Health Information Services. Big congratulations to Terry and her entire family, and we thank you, Terry, for everything you do for our community. Let's look at the standings around the USL Championship. We begin in the West. The Switchbacks, and this is live, would be up to 3rd place with a point. Again, there could be a chance they can get caught by Memphis, Las Vegas, with other games going on tonight and elsewhere.
Yeah, but just having a little bit of the idea what would happen if the game ends with a draw. And of course, obviously both clubs want to add those 3 points, and we'll see if after this second 45 minutes, things are going to change.
San Antonio would still be 3 points back and games in hand as well. Eastern Conference. Haven't talked a lot about the East, but this is where it stands right now. Lou City, of course, have clinched home field. They're the Players' Shield winners. Charleston locked in second. Detroit City had a 0-0 draw earlier today. They're the 3rd team to clinch a playoff spot in the East.
Yeah, and then rooting for the rest of the teams that are going to end up making into the postseason. But still a pretty much open for me up until, a few number 11. Almost everybody else.
So much still to figure out in the wild and wacky Eastern Conference, that is for sure. This is the live playoff bracket. Right now, this moment in time, these would be the matchups, and there's a lot of blockbuster matchups potentially on hand for us in the upcoming playoffs.
I love it when we do a potential bracket of how it would look, because we still have to finish this game week plus the other 2, but
yes,
still gives you an idea of how many exciting matches we could get. It could be Switchbacks Oakland.
That would be a very interesting matchup, no question. The Roots have given a lot of teams some trouble at times this season. We'll see how it all plays out, as you rightly said, Carmen, over the next couple of weeks. Well, we'll step aside for now. 0-0 here at Widener Field. After the break, we'll look around the league with the news and notes and much more here in Colorado Springs at the half.
Is it somebody's birthday?
Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked Bebidas.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second guessing everything. Every coach's decision. Every referee's call. Every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
Back here, the Creative Consortium halftime report. Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Boquin, our entire crew, nearly getting the second half started. These fans want the second half to start, that's for sure. It's 0-0 here at a jam-packed Widener Field. News and notes around the league. Couple of firsts to make you aware if you aren't already. Lou City clinching the Players' Shield for the first time in the club's history. I don't think anyone expected it to be the first, but it is. And what a season for Dennis Sanchez in Las Vegas. They clinch a playoff spot for the first time in the club's history as well. And of course, Carmen, the push to the postseason. One of our favorite times of the year.
Yes, and every weekend is important, but this one can be also a lot because 7 teams could end up clinching that playoff position, including one expansion side this season, which is Rhode Island FC. So that's also exciting in terms of what's going to be building into the postseason.
Of course, many teams like Colorado Springs and others who have clinched are still trying to shore up some playoff seeding. I think Louisville and Charleston in the East are the only two that pretty much know that they're going to be the #1 and #2 spots. And again, big tip of the cap to Dennis Sanchez. What a job that they've done. Out-of-town scores, we look, of course, at a huge victory for Pittsburgh over Charleston. That's a game that keeps Bob Lilly's side right in the thick of things in the East.
And that's not an easy one, but they ended up winning that game 2-0. Always important, and a few matches being played as the one that we're having that had for North Carolina. It's 4-0, 70 minutes. Also Louisville, Tampa, in a win for the Rowdies.
That would be a huge victory for Brendan Burke's side if they can see that out. 4-0 against another team around them in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Some other scores to make you aware of. 0-0 early on between Tulsa and New Mexico. Again, another game that San Antonio fans need to keep an eye on before Oakland hosts Phoenix later on tonight. The defending champions have work to do to clinch a playoff spot.
What a great way to start putting an end towards the regular season. So much excitement. Can't believe it's coming to an end. It seems like it started like yesterday.
Time flies when you're having fun in the USL Championship, but luckily there's plenty more fun for us to be had in this season and in this game here at Widener Field. We'll step aside for a moment We'll have highlights, stats, and the second half kick from Colorado Springs. It's all coming up after the break.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at mcdivittlaw.com.
McDivitt.
Natural gas ensures that when you need to heat things up, you can, but it can also be hazardous. That's why, in the event of a natural gas leak, you need to know the 3 S's. The first one, sound. Listen for the sound of hissing or whistling. Number 2, sight. Look for dead or discolored vegetation in an otherwise green area. And number 3, smell. It's hard to miss. Be on the lookout for a pungent odor like rotten eggs. If you notice any of these signs, leave the area immediately and call 911. For more information, go to csu.org.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
Colorado Springs Utilities serves electric, gas, water, and wastewater. If you combine all 4 services, you're paying around 11% less than anybody else on the Front Range. Water is the only one of our 4 services where you pay more. Since we have no river systems of our own, more than 70% of our water comes from Colorado's west slope. Colorado Springs Utilities has delivered all 4 of these services safely, reliably, and at the best value to you for the last 100 years, and we will continue to do that long into the future.
With you at the half here in Colorado Springs. No score yet. There's still a big 45 minutes to play out in front of a jammed crowd here at Widener Fields. Let's jump into the halftime highlights brought to you by Broadmoor, Cryotherapy. And Carmen, we begin in the 17th minute with the Switchbacks out on the attack.
And it was a really good play early on, building towards what they were trying to do, and then Kierman just getting a good chance in there. He's so young and he's so ready to find himself toward that goal again, and he's been trying throughout the match, being one of the ones with more shots on target.
Didn't take long for the Switchbacks to come up with another opportunity off the cross from Santos.
Coa Santos switching from one side to the other and just trailing really fast into that flank and bringing a ball into the box, trying to find somebody. There was nobody there to connect that ball early on.
At San Antonio, they did have some half chances, but the majority of the half were creative plays from the Switchbacks.
Yes, and this one, that was such a good one, fast-paced. That's the way you ended up getting a good shot on target. First shot, don't think about it, just do it with your left and try to send it really fast into the back of the net. Ends up going wide by just a little bit.
And this was the last play of the half, a late chance for Tejada.
Tejada taking another good chance in this one. It was perfect how he accommodated the ball the way he needed it to give a good shot with his right leg. Ends up going wide.
We look at the halftime stats, also brought to you by Broadmoor Cryotherapy. And really, the shots and the shots on target tell 2 different stories. One, that the Switchbacks came up with a lot of chances in that first half, but both teams didn't really come up with many quality chances. A Matt Mahoney header was the best shot.
But still, it seemed like everything was on the side of Colorado Springs. Hopefully San Antonio taking advantage of maybe a few breakaways. Not having the ball is always really hard. They were trailing behind it almost throughout the whole match. It was really hard for them.
Again, this is a game with a lot of storylines in this one. So there's already some halftime fireworks. Switchbacks will be hoping that there's on-field fireworks during the second half. It'll help them jump out in front and pick up what would be, if they could win, their 14th victory of the season. We've been told that San Antonio actually used one of their substitutions during the half. Sofiane Zafal has come on for Omar Gray. That leaves San Antonio with 2 outfield players remaining
I think I've
and
never
a goalkeeper.
been so surprised for a substitution.
I'm right there with you.
I'm suffering a little bit.
I'm a bit surprised that Alan Marcina used it that quickly. It's a William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center substitution. And Yosuke Hanya goes right to work at the start of the second half. Didn't look like there was enough contact for a foul. It's going to be an early goal kick for San Antonio FC. To your point, Carmen, it's not rare to see coaches make halftime substitutions. Those happen. But when you only have 3 outfield players available, and Omar Gray, as far as we could tell, again, we're not necessarily experts in quality of play, but Omar Gray had a fine first half. Didn't seem that anything was the matter, unless there was an injury. It's a little bit of a puzzling change from Alan Marcina.
The only reason I could think about it, he's a defender, playing with that 5 in the back, a little bit more allowed to do something in the flanks, bringing him out and putting midfield, maybe going to a 4-4-2 or something like that. That could be the only reason, where I'm guessing, because it's not position for position. So we'll see how they sit in the next 5 to 6 minutes and get a better idea of what changed.
Again, one of the reasons we're talking about it like this is because if San Antonio picks up an injury later on in the game or starts to really need some alterations later on, they just used one of their possible changes already. So it's a bit of a risk, that's to say the least, for Alan Marcina. We'll see if it pays off for San Antonio in the second half.
Or maybe Richard Sanchez to step in as a field player. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that.
Crazier things have happened. Maybe not crazier things in a playoff chase. I think that's the context that makes it so wild. Again, for those that are just joining us, the reason for a lot of these parts of the conversation is because both teams are missing players due to international duty with CONCACAF competitions, the Nations League. San Antonio have a chance here. Oh my, a really good chance. And the shot is skied over the top by Reese Buckmaster, who had an open view at goal.
Well done here by Buckmaster. He has already contributed in a goal with a good assist, but in this one, he just took his chance. Great way of touching that ball with the inner part of his left foot, sending it wide by nothing. That could have been a great goal.
That's why Christian Herrera was incensed with his defense. They gave Reese Buckmaster a lot of time to work with. Switchbacks go up the other end with Hanya. Hanya's ball in towards Tejada, helped along by Kendall Burks, and it is going to roll out of play. It's going to be a corner. Oh, beg your pardon. It's going to be a goal kick. Well, the Switchbacks are puzzled by that decision. I thought Kendall Burks got the last touch. So did they. Goal kicks the decision. Cole Maraca and Zach Zandy are still having a word with the official about that. Well, that ends up going down as a little bit of a missed opportunity for the Switchbacks. We're trying to end this 5-year, 12-match drought without a win over San Antonio FC. San Antonio need that unbeaten run to continue if they're to stay in with a realistic chance at making the playoffs for a 5th consecutive season. Look there at the series history. San Antonio's dominated it all time, but more recently, over these last 5 years, it's just been all SAFC when these two get together. And again, we touched on this earlier, 2 of those wins came in the playoffs and ended the Switchback season. Here's Koa Santos. Out to the far side, Quincy Huerman, who's been very active. Back for Santos. Santos's cross into the middle. He's gonna bounce out of play, and it looks like it's gonna be a goal kick. We talked about what the Switchbacks are trying to overcome tonight. What San Antonio is trying to overcome is a very poor road record so far this season. 10 losses in 16 prior road games this season, just 3 wins. I'm sure many of these San Antonio players would tell you it should have been 4 last time out, but they let that 2-goal lead slip against Locomotive. It really has to be 4 tonight. If it isn't, San Antonio are in a very, very tough spot going into their final couple of games.
That's never good. Only 12 points away. That could be one of the biggest reasons what they're doing, how they're doing, and they're not better at home either because they only have 35 points, which is 23 at home.
Well, that's a giveaway. Chance for San Antonio here. It's a clean challenge, though. It allows Koa Santos and company to deal with that for Colorado Springs. It's out for a throw. Huerman with an acrobatic ball up ahead. I don't think Tejada was in an offside, I should say, he wasn't in an onside position. Flag would have gone up if he got involved. That allows San Antonio to clear. Rios away from Williams. And it's clipped towards the penalty area. Delence Pierre cushions it down for Rocha. James Chambers' side have scored 45 goals this season, and those 10 home wins, those rank amongst some of the best home records in the league. We're talking about Lou City, we're talking about Charleston, New Mexico. Those are the teams that have double-digit home wins this season, so the Switchbacks are in good company. They want to continue to play here in the playoffs. Here's Santos, meanwhile. Cole Maraca sliding it through. And then Maraca gets it back! But his shot is caught cleanly by Pablo Cisniega.
And Maraca had to take his chance, you know. He thought he would have a good chance from here, takes his time to accommodate the ball as soon as he receives it, and then he puts it back on play, and when he gets it for the second one, that one goes directly on shot at the first touch. Good job there by Cisniega. And you know, this is the opposite side for the Switchbacks. You were mentioning the home stretch. That is 30 points out of wins and then 4 out of draws. So it's 34 points out of the 46 that they have. So they've been only allowed to get also 12 away. But that's what you need, right? A good team at home and then try to get as much as you can.
That's part of the reason why it would do the Switchbacks the world of good to get home field advantage. They've been a poor road team this season, and frankly, they've been poor on the road in their playoff history as well. They lost to San Antonio on the road in the playoffs last season when they went to the Western Conference Final. Again, that was at San Antonio a few years back. They lost there as well. Here, Orange County went on to win the USL Championship. A team that had Mishi and Galina and Haji Berry. Talking back to 2021. The Switchbacks team went to Orange County. They had a man advantage. They still lost on the road. It's not been kind to Colorado Springs in road playoff games. So history would tell you that it's very important for the Switchbacks to get a top 4 seed.
Yeah, because we talk about how important it is to be in playoff position, but it's also really important to stay on the top 4 so you can take that advantage.
Free kick scoring opportunity is brought to you by Underline, delivering gigabit fiber internet. Go to underline.com/COS. Couple of goals have gone in the other games. Louisville have equalized against the Rowdies. By the way, Hartford, they were 4-0 up. North Carolina have gotten it back to 4-2. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And from the free kick, it's Maraca who sends it into the seats. And that's going to cue another San Antonio substitution here. Well, we're told that it's going to be Jake LaCava who's going to come out here. And Hugo Mabongu is going to take his spot. And that leaves Alan Marcina with a lot of time left. He only has one outfield change that he can make. It's another William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center change. Besides making a goalkeeper swap, there's only one player left, and that is Machop Joel on the San Antonio bench. To be fair to Alan Marcina, they need to score a goal. They have to win the game. So he feels that these players that can come on can help to change that. But again, the risk is that you could lose someone late and you might be out of changes.
Or that risk could be, you concede one goal and then have to suffer to come back from behind. So it's like, those moments are when the head coach can make that better decision. But we're still feeling the jitter of what could happen if you get a red card or have an injury. What do you do? Do you bring the goalkeeper in as a field player?
And to be fair to Alan Marcina, he's got to do something to try to get his team in a winning position.
Ooh.
Referee's going to bring this back. It's a free kick. Zach Zandy brought down. Another set piece opportunity coming up here.
Yeah, this is the third one. The first one was again played in short, and then the second one, we'll see if this one, that it's a little bit closer, gets more dangerous.
Again, remember, free kick scoring opportunities brought to you by Underline. Go to underline.com/COS for gigabit fiber internet protection. Well, here we go. Another big opportunity for Colorado Springs. And again, they're in very good position for this set piece. Huerman and Rocha standing over it. And there's going to be 4 in the San Antonio wall, including the 2 substitutes. We approach the hour mark here at Widener Field. It's Huerman right into the wall. Recycled by Rocha. In by Santos. Headed down by Mahoney. And Tejada was just a step too slow to get there. Cisniega gets there first.
Oh my God, just being able to recycle the ball really quickly and still have more players in the small space. And then Juan Tejada just trying to get faster and first to that ball, but he couldn't anyways.
San Antonio come up the other end. Nearly a chance for Mbongu there. Kawa Santos clears. And tries to find Quincy Huerman. It's right into his stride. Huerman gets past the challenge. It's still Quincy Huerman. It's touched away from him. Fans were looking for a penalty there more than the players. Play continues. Aiden Rocha trying to get in behind. He's shepherded away by Luke Hawkinson. And Pablo Cisniega is there again. Another look.
And this one, oh my God, Burks, that was perfect the way he took the ball away from him without committing any foul, touching his body or anything. That is how a defense has to put his leg and just dispossess of the ball. Greatly done.
Huge from Kendall Burks. And it's a reset for the Switchbacks. Just over 30 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Huerman, that comes up short. Lovely little turn from Vin Bickler. Chance to move it forward here. Esprejido. Did he keep it in play? No, he did not. And it goes right back to the Switchbacks. Rocha. You start to wonder, when is James Chambers going to bring on some players? Remember, he has 4 outfield players available. Marco Rios and Alex Anderson are the attacking options. The teenagers, Carlos Estrada, who's a defender, and Aiden Harris, who's a midfielder, are also available. And again, the only other player on the bench is the backup goalkeeper, Joe Rice.
And this is when you have to take it for the team, rely on your team players. And you know, this is a challenge. And sometimes sports have this, challenges. And the good thing is going to be who's able to prevail after.
Hawkinson for Zafal. Rocha hands it away, helped along by Zach Zandy. Couldn't find Tejada, but Zandy's back on it on the near side. Clever touch, past a couple of defenders, and then Speedy Williams up ahead. Not on the same page with Tejada.
What happened to Hawkinson's socks? Have you seen them? Wait, you'll see.
Cleared away by Cisniega. Oh, well, there are some players who do like to rip those socks up, yeah. I think Jude Bellingham, the England international, has kind of made that a thing.
They were ripped before or until now?
That I could not tell you. We might have to get a team on that to decipher. That has become more and more of a trend, I must say.
Well, you can get hurt in that little space that it's left.
I think you and I both know of a day where the shin guards were much bigger and socks were a little bit thicker. It's not the same days anymore.
No. Bodies all built different also.
Times have certainly changed in that regard. Time and space here, meanwhile, for Matt Mahoney. Hewerman up ahead. Cole Maraca. This is good build-up here from the Switchbacks. It fizzes past Mahoney. Koa Santos for Matt Mahoney! And it's saved by Pablo Cisniega. Well, Matt Mahoney has had the two best chances of the night.
Yeah, and in this one, it gives you the feeling that he could have done just a little bit more, just to try to pull the ball down, control it a few 1 seconds, and then go directly on shot. He decides to go in a semi-weird attempt, which is what he got. That was the research that he could, you know, get faster. But still, they're just losing those good chances that they've been having throughout. Hopefully, they don't end up regretting them soon.
Matt Mahoney is giving it everything he's got to try to get the Switchbacks over the line tonight. That is for sure. And here is Hawkinson, socks and all, curling this up ahead. Oh, he nearly found a teammate there. Mwangu was making a good run into the penalty area, and Christian Herrera is there. San Antonio wins the battle in the midfield. Lovely ball through here, but Lucho, rare miscued touch by him. Had a chance to run into some space, but his touch lets him down, and the Switchbacks get the ball back. Now, those are collector's items, those Lucho mistakes. They do not happen very often. Here's Williams. Time is starting to become a factor in this one tonight. Though we have been told that Alan Marcina is getting ready to make his last outfield player change of the night. We'll get to that in a second. Hanya's forced to go all the way back to the Haitian international, Delence Pierre. Now, Matt Mahoney goes around the horn to Santos, and then Hewerman tries to play Santos in. It's, well, an unnecessary push, really, from Santos, and it's a free kick. And not just San Antonio, the Switchbacks. Switchbacks are also going to make a change here. We'll get to the San Antonio one first. Daniel Rios is going to come out. And there's only one player who can come on for him. It's Machop Chol, who will take his place, and that leaves Richard Sanchez, the goalkeeper, as the last available player on San Antonio's bench with 25 minutes to go. The Colorado Springs change is Alex Anderson on for Quincy Hewerman. Both are brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center.
Yeah, and Alex Anderson, he has played 9 games with 62 minutes altogether. He's a forward, so he's trying to find, good more chances, but I felt like the French player was doing so good. Herman, still, he wasn't able to score that first one.
So both of those William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center changes are confirmed. James Chambers has 3 outfield players remaining. Alan Marcina, he is more courageous than most. He has none left, only a goalkeeper remaining. And again, we talked about it earlier. You have to give Alan Marcina credit. He's working with what he's got. Might as well use them if you got them. And he's used all of them. Now can San Antonio go on and win the game? That's the next question. It's a game they pretty much have to win tonight. And Hawkinson, lovely little step over moves. Clips it to the back post. It's headed down towards Lucho. Served back into the penalty area and out of the penalty area. It's a goal kick. Santos up ahead. It's too tall for Alex Anderson. You mentioned it earlier, Carmen, 9 appearances, now 10 for Alex Anderson in the USL Championship this season, has yet to score. Maybe it's the Swede who could put his name up in lights tonight. Oh, a chance here for San Antonio. Huge challenge from Delens Pierre, and Chol is thwarted inside the penalty area. That's one of the better San Antonio chances we've seen tonight.
And we were praising what San Antonio Burke's defender did. This one's another really good showcase of how you can, in one way, just get it touch of the ball first. This allows the player your opponent want to put himself in a better position without committing a foul.
Tejada up the other end for the Switchbacks. Keeps it alive, and Bickler trying to keep him tight to the touchline. Koa Santos into the penalty area. It's over the head of Hanya, picked up by Cole Moraka. And there's time and space here for Aiden Rocha, and he delivers! The breakthrough arrives! The second goal of the season for Aiden Rocha, and the Switchbacks have the lead against San Antonio. Even the coaching staff joins in on the celebrations here at Widener Field.
Was it fantastic, just switching it from one side to the other with all the time in the world that he had to get Rocha the ball, and then he just get inside the box, find himself in the best position ever, puts it in the far post. What a great definition by Rocha. That is being clinical towards the goal, scoring his second one of the season, like you mentioned. And you gotta give it to Moraka. He's been doing such a great job throughout, in one flank, in the other, in the middle, and in this one, just understanding how to put that ball for Rocha to score the goal. I think half of it is definitely for Moraka.
It's a goal brought to you by Centuries Casino, your hometown casino. Welcome to the winner's zone. How important could that goal be to the Switchbacks' push for home playoff seeding? And how big of a blow could that be to San Antonio's playoff hopes down the stretch? It could also potentially be the goal that finally ends the hoodoo against San Antonio. Here come the Switchbacks again. It's Yosuke Hanya. 20 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, and his pass out wide to Koa Santos is going to go out of play. Well, on a night like this, it's fitting that a player who's only scored one prior goal this season comes up with the goods.
Yeah, and he's been part of a few games. He's played 29 games. Not all starting, but still, he's been there, and he finds himself in such a good chance of scoring this goal that could, the next 20 minutes, we'll see, mean a lot.
Now, Rocha did the splits there, trying to get a touch onto it. Moraka and company move it ahead again. Santos bending it down the line. Alex Anderson trying to catch up to it, but it's defended well by Kendall Burks. He'll take no chances. It's out for a throw-in. And now San Antonio find themselves in a position where they're going to need to score twice to get the result that they need tonight, which of course is a victory. Couple quick updates from games going on elsewhere. Hartford had a 4-0 lead with 70 minutes gone. The game finished 4-3. North Carolina almost came back to tie the game. Incredible. Louisville were down 1-0 against the Rowdies the last time we checked in. Danny Cruz's side came back. They won 2-1. The other two live games are scoreless. Moraka tried to slide that through for Anderson. It's off of Burks, and it's going to be a switchbacks corner on the near side. It's a corner brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Bank well, be well. And as the Widener Field faithful have done tonight, be loud. It's been another fantastic Widener Field atmosphere tonight. And their hero of the night, Rocha, is going to take the corner. At the near post, Tejada ended up not getting much of a touch on it. It's back out by Buckmaster. And it'll be a second Pikes Peak National Bank corner. And more chances for the Switchbacks fans to bank well, be well, and cheer loud. Another goal here could be curtains for San Antonio, not just on the night, but again, could give them a huge blow as far as their potential playoff hopes. It would put them in a very tough spot. Rocha tries the far post this time. It's headed backwards for Santos. Santos back across, headed away only as far as Zandy. Rocha again, blocked away. Mabungu with a huge intervention. And Rocha had eyes on a double. He has another corner upcoming. Also brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank.
Incredible. 3 consecutive corners, well defensively by San Antonio. And just once more, feeling that they're getting closer to that second one.
Rocha and the Switchbacks want to put this one to bed if they can. And it's clipped in towards the back post. There was some shirt pulling going on there. Referee deems it not enough to blow the whistle. And the attack fizzles out. It's a goal kick. Now 16 minutes left for San Antonio. Again, 4 consecutive playoff appearances coming into the season. They were champions a couple of seasons back. 2022, they beat Lou City in the final at home. And well, in the year after that, they were another one of the top teams in the West. They were the 4 seed in the playoffs last season. We talked about how they knocked out Colorado Springs last season and the year before that. At the moment, they're the ones trying to clutch for points, and the Switchbacks are on course to finally end this 12-match run without a victory against their conference rivals.
And that's 15 minutes plus stoppage away. It has been such an interesting match, aside from all the challenges, because we want to call it that way, that both teams have had.
Nice little give and go here. Chol not able to do much with it. It's cut out. And Koa Santos will see it roll out of play. It goes back to San Antonio. And remember as well, Alan Marcina is out of outfield players. So this is the team that's going to have to come back in the last 15 minutes. Only a backup goalkeeper remains on the subs bench. James Chambers, if he wants to, still has 3 outfield players he could bring on. So we'll see how the Irish international handles things for the Switchbacks. Haven't seen a ton from Lucho tonight. He's offside here. It's a free kick for Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I feel he's been doing more of a job of recovery. Of course, when you don't have the ball, you have to run behind it, see how you can put a little bit of pressure, try to recover it. And then if you do, see if you can at least connect a few, 2-3 good passes and move yourself up front, be more direct towards the goal. And they've been struggling with that.
You could probably count on one hand the really good chances for San Antonio tonight. There haven't been many. But one goal in it still, for now at least. Lovely move here from Hanya. He again tried to cut inside. Again, the Widener Field faithful ask the referee for a penalty. It's not been given. And now Lucho can bring it up the other end for San Antonio. Still Lucho, it's a 2-on-1. It's played across. It's a chance. It's a goal. Hugo Mabongu has equalized for San Antonio. 1-1 with 13 minutes to play. Brand new life for the Texans. What a response.
Can you tell me how it came from a no goal to a big chance? And you were just talking about the Argentinian player, about Lucho, and what was expected of him. And he just wins this ball, puts it there for matchup to be able to just get the goal. And the goal came from the bench. You know, we were talking about how important the head coach is. And in this one, he just saw it and bring him in. And he ends up scoring the level of the game.
We just said earlier how quickly things can change. Mabongu is the goal scorer. And it's 1-1. Guys, it's 18, not 80. Matt Mahoney was booked, by the way, in all of that. Switchbacks were protesting, and they're still protesting that they should have had a foul up the other end. It's a Diversis Health yellow card. Mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. It's just the second goal this season for Hugo Mabongu. He hasn't scored any bigger than that. 1-1, and San Antonio need one more to give their playoff hopes a huge jolt. Aiden Rocha is still complaining to the assistant referee. And the bench has also received a booking as well for Colorado Springs. They are convinced that goal should not have stood.
Yeah, and the goal ended up lasting only 10 minutes. Now it's going to be back to try to fight forward and see if they can get those 3 points. But what a great praise that we have to give to San Antonio, knowing the challenge that they've had throughout the whole match and just putting themselves there. We were talking about the Argentinian and how he was lacking of that attacking participation, and he just responded that way with such a great assist.
We said earlier, it only takes one moment to change a game. Have San Antonio found that moment? Mabongu into the penalty area. Oh my goodness, he almost scored again. Herrera makes another big save. Corner for San Antonio, and all of a sudden, things have changed here at Widener Field.
It's going to be through that flank, the right one, with Mabongu just trailing past every single player that's trying to stop him, winning also the second corner kick of the night for them.
It's a T-Row Price corner, invest with confidence. Grajeda puts in the corner, and it doesn't find anybody. It's going to bounce out of play. It's a goal kick. 10 minutes plus stoppage time for someone to regain the advantage. Will that elusive victory for Colorado Springs over San Antonio have to wait? Colorado Springs would still be in third place in the live table, but again, Vegas have a game in hand on them. That takes a big deflection into the penalty area. Well handled by Burks, who plays the safe option and sends it out for a McDivitt Law Firm corner. We're in your corner.
Now it's going to be the final 10 minutes plus stoppage to bring it back to how we started with that point per side. And now it's going to be the big moment to see who can put it on their opportunity and you know, take advantage of it.
It's a good precursor for the playoffs, isn't it? The twists and turns.
Yes.
Can Colorado Springs get their lead back here on Fan Appreciation Night? 9 minutes plus stoppage to go. Rocha to take. Rocha's ball in. Oh, it's towards Mahoney. Hanya for Koa Santos, blocked. Santos again. Mahoney on the turn. Yosuke Hanya picks up the pieces. A cutback by Koa Santos, and it's touched out of play. It's going to be another corner for Colorado Springs. This time it's a Pikes Peak National Bank corner. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Another set piece chance for Colorado Springs upcoming.
Let's make it 10 corners for the night so far.
Another opportunity for Rocha. Sends it right back in. Another chance for Mahoney, not able to get a touch on it. Not definitively cleared, but Hanya's touch was to no one in particular. However, San Antonio cannot clear it and find a teammate. It's going to be Speedy Williams who resets for the Switchbacks. Tejada. Touching it to that far side. Williams all the way back for Zandy. Rocha up ahead, couldn't find Hanya. Up ahead from Lucho. And then a shirt pull from Pierre, well spotted by the referee. It's a free kick. Mabangu brought down, what an impact he's had since coming on. And the Switchbacks are gonna make a change here. Marco Rios, who's had quite a bit of experience in his young career with the Switchbacks, he'll come on, and he's certainly a player capable of being a difference maker down the stretch. It's another William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center change. It leaves James Chambers with 2 teenagers left as his outfield players off the bench.
Yeah, at the end, he takes out a midfield, puts forward. He's trying to get another goal. I was liking what Morocco was doing throughout the whole match, but I'm sure Marco Rios can bring also a good importance of creating attack now.
For Marco Rios, it's his 11th appearance for the Switchbacks in his career. He has scored 2 goals for Colorado Springs. Both of them came last season. Lovely give and go here with Rocha as he brought down. Referee has a look at it, says nothing doing. It's cleared away. Not the first time tonight the Switchbacks have had a penalty shout. Here's Speedy Williams to pick up the pieces. Matt Mahoney. Yosuke Hanya. Out wide for Koa Santos. Can the Switchbacks retake the lead here? It's Speedy Williams, who hasn't scored all season, tried to provide the winner there and sends it out of play. Another look at the penalty appeal.
Well, it seemed like it was really close, you know. There's a little bit of a touch on the side, ends up allowing him, or not allowing him, ends up making him fall. If you call it, it's okay, and if you don't, it's okay.
I think Hawkinson putting his hands up showed the referee that there was no contact, and I think that's what the referee saw. I don't think that was enough for a penalty, to be fair. My opinion. You can.
I buy all the penalties.
Disagree
I
if
would
you'd
be
like.
the worst referee in the world. Everything would be a penalty for me.
Cisniega holds on. And to be fair, in the grand scheme of things, this would still be a bit of a disappointing result for San Antonio. Just 1 point really doesn't help them out a ton, but they still have time to win it.
No, and that one I'll disagree with you, because they were losing 3 points and now they're getting one. And for Switchback, it would be the other way around. They were winning 3 at home, and now they ended up, losing those 2 now. Well, if it stays this way.
Still time for some late Widener Field drama.
I buy that one.
Pierre. Time and space for Matt Mahoney. How close has he come tonight to being a hero? Here's Hanya. Hanya back across. Tejada! Oh! Brilliant save by Cisniega. He's done it again. And it's out for another corner. Look at this.
Cisniega tally already in 5 amazing saves. This one, I think, being one of the hardest. Well, the other one, the header from such a close range, was a big one. But this one too, because it was mid-size, almost floor level, and he still was able to punch that ball out with his 2 hands.
Pikes Peak National Bank corner. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Aiden Rocha will get another corner opportunity. Kalen Radisov making sure there's no fouls being committed inside the penalty area before the kick. 3 minutes of the 90 left. In it comes. It's headed away, not definitively cleared. Now it's headed out of the penalty area. Speedy Williams keeps it going. Williams clips it back in. Rios had a free header, but it was too tall for him. Tejada gets it back. Rocha, it's touched out for another corner on the Chol clearance. Another Pikes Peak National Bank corner. Bank well, be well, cheer well. Tejada. Can the Switchbacks get this late moment that they're craving for here against San Antonio? Santos, another header from Rios. And I think the referee is given, yes, another Pikes Peak National Bank corner. Taken quickly for Rocha. Tejada. Williams was cut out by Buckmaster. And a chance here for San Antonio to bring it up the other end. There's nobody back. Lucho is gonna chip the goalkeeper, and he misses the target with San Antonio's playoff hopes hanging in the balance. Did that really just happen? He had the goal at his mercy, and to say the least, Colorado Springs are let off the hook. There was nobody back. Koa Santos leaves it for Matt Mahoney. Colorado Springs can still win this. Anderson still going. Clean challenge in the end. Vin Bickler gets it clean and wins it back in the 90th minute. Didn't we tell you there was going to be a few late twists? My goodness.
But I never expected that. I'm dying to see it again, because, it's that moment where you're in a 1v1, nobody in front of you but the goalkeeper, and you can volley it over him, and it goes wide. Explain that to me. How did it happen?
If San Antonio doesn't make the playoffs, we may look back at that moment.
I'm telling you, Lucho's having nightmares with that one.
Hanya for the Switchbacks. That pinballed around, it hits off the corner flag. It didn't go out yet. Now it's a throw-in for Colorado Springs, and Finn Bickler's got to be careful. You cannot put your hands on an official. He almost did. Quickly taken. Mahoney for Pierre. It's to Lens Pierre! just over the top. Well, he's already scored a late equalizer at Pittsburgh earlier this season. He nearly scored a late winner here.
The tally of shots is surreal. It's plus 20, and many of those were on target, and many of those were saved by Cisniega. And now we're coming into the late minutes, already in stoppage. What can happen now?
Injury stoppage presented by Common Spirit Health. Cisniega needed a moment. We're also into 5 added minutes, brought to you by the TikTok Shop. Well, if you wanted a little appetizer for the playoffs, this game has turned into that, it's fair to say. Aiden Rocha's goal canceled out by Hugo Mabongu's equalizer. And there's 4 minutes left for someone to grab the glory. Referee blew the whistle. That's a free kick for Colorado Springs. Koa Santos looking for Anderson, cut out by Richard Van Bickler. Huge challenges from him in these last couple of minutes. Santos begging someone to get open. He finds Hanya. Touch down the line for Marco Rios. Rios kept it in. He thought he was pushed. Referee did not give a free kick. Not the best of clearances. Santos back in. Too tall for Tejada.
And not anybody there in that pocket of space that was free. Many of the Switchbacks players just trailing behind more in that right flank. And I'm sorry, in the left flank, and couldn't find anybody for the right. What a final minutes of this match.
It's almost been beyond words.
I'm nervous.
I'm sure there's still a few people watching this that still can't believe San Antonio don't have the lead.
No, and it can go either way now.
Still 3 minutes about left to play. Switchbacks really want to win this and finally get over the hump against San Antonio. It's Rocha. It's Marco Rios. He lays it off for Tejada. Tejada back across. It's Hanya. It's Zandy. Zandy couldn't get there. And then it's saved by Cisniega. The last touch came from Alex Anderson. It came up short.
And it's just a trying here. He couldn't find a better way to finalize that touch. And then also Anderson, even with the mistake of Cisniega, because he almost let that ball go away, he was able to just catch it in the second instance. Another tally for saves for him. Wow.
He's had a long list of big saves tonight, Pablo Cisniega. Zafal picks it up for San Antonio. There's still 1.5 minutes left here. Challenge comes in, referee lets it go, but Rocha has it. Another challenge came in behind the play. Again, the referee let that one go. I think the third one has finally been given. Anderson was brought down. Switchbacks are gonna bring everybody forward here. It's gonna be a free kick. It's a goal scoring opportunity brought to you by Underline Gigabit Fiber Internet, underline.com/COS. It could be the last chance of the game. There's only 1 minute left of stoppage time. The Switchbacks have waited 5 years. Can they finally beat San Antonio? In by Williams. Faint handball appeals come in. Referee stops the play for a possible injury. One of the San Antonio players dealing with a bit of a knock. I think it's because it's a possible head injury here. I think that's why it really was, yep, referee's pointing at his head.
Yeah, it was in the forehead. He understands the responsibility that he takes. It was a direct hit from the ball in the face.
Great look by our crew there. It's an injury stoppage brought to you by Common Spirit Health. Well, now it's going to be up to the referee's discretion how much time we play on here. The 5 minutes are up. There could still be another minute and change left depending on how long this injury stoppage takes. And again, the more important thing is to make sure that, well, in this case, that Luke Hawkinson, I believe, is okay. And my goodness, San Antonio, who do not have any outfield players remaining, might be getting ready to bring on backup goalkeeper Richard Sanchez here as an outfield player. Alan Marcin is trying to get the referee's attention. We have him listed as number 33, but he's put on a different shirt because, of course, he's a goalkeeper.
I told you that could happen, and
here we are. But I'm not sure Alan Marcin is going to get his wish. Santos clips it in. Mahoney is going to have it fall to him here. Mahoney across, Cisniega comes up with it and is fouled, and then there was a push afterwards, a fall, pushing over Tejada, and now it's all spilling over into the goal. Yellow card is out. Well, look, this could go to a number of players here. The outcome is going to be a free kick for San Antonio, but what's the referee going to do about the yellow card? Another look.
yeah, it was crazy going into the end line and just bringing that ball back. It was everything way too close. There's a Tejada fall there, but there's the push from Buckmaster, and then everything spiraled from there. Tejada was complaining about something in his hand also, and then the card, which we still don't know who got it.
Well, now Cisniega has been booked for continuing the conversation with Tejada.
And now
Buckmaster's booked for the earlier part. San Antonio is saying, why hasn't Tejada been booked? That still might happen. The card's not out of the... Oh, now it's back in the pocket. No yellow card for Tejada.
Can we go to 120 minutes for this? Can we have extra time for this game? I need extra time, please. It would be only fair.
It's just been bucket loads and bucket loads of drama. Well, somehow Tejada escaped without a booking. That's what San Antonio would certainly tell you. Both of the yellow cards are brought to you by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Cisniega and Buckmaster both booked. Buckmaster still can't believe it. It's sent ahead. And now, again, it's up to Kalen Radisov. How much more time are we going to have? That's one back by Speedy Williams. It stays in play, but then he loses out. Hawkinson sending it up ahead. Lucho couldn't get there. Mahoney steps in. Mabungu plays it through, and San Antonio have won it! It's absolutely extraordinary. Louis Solignac, who missed the chance earlier, has stunned Widener Field into silence, and maybe, just maybe, put San Antonio's playoff hopes back on track.
And clearly it's not over till it's over. And what a big mistake here from a player that was able of getting so many balls out, which was Pierre, and then allowing San Antonio to just be able to do what they needed. And we were talking about Lucho, how he needed to get that big moment. He had the assist, and now he was able to score the game winner shot of the game. What a 90 minutes.
How do you explain it?
I don't.
100 minutes of madness here at Widener Field. And if it holds, San Antonio will get their result in the end. It's headed down for Zach Zandy. He won't get there. It's a goal kick. Referee checks the watch. It looks like it's going to be 13 games without defeat for San Antonio against Colorado Springs. Unbelievable.
And this is the magic of these sports. You never know what's going to happen.
Sent forward, and it's full time at Widener Field. Lucho wins it for San Antonio. and Alan Marcina's side stay alive, really stay alive for a potential playoff bid. It's a game they had to win. Somehow they win it, and they're now 13 games unbeaten against Colorado Springs. San Antonio show the heart of former champions here tonight, and the Switchbacks have their hearts broken again against San Antonio, this time in stoppage time.
That must be really hard because they felt that they had it when they were able to score that goal in minute 69. And out of there, it just got so complicated for the Switchbacks. And then San Antonio, even with the challenges, bringing the only 3 players that they had in the bench to be so important in terms of getting these 3 points. These are 3 points of gold, even if they don't make it to the playoff.
That has to be as satisfying a win as Alan Marcina has had in his San Antonio career. Incredibly dramatic scenes here at Widener Field. San Antonio at one point looked dead and buried with 20 minutes to go. Well, they rose from the ashes and they win it by 2-1 here at Widener Field. We'll step aside and we will wrap it all up next after an instant classic in the USL Championship.
Natural gas ensures that when you need to heat things up, you can, but it can also be hazardous. That's why in the event of a natural gas leak, you need to know the 3 S's. The first one, sound. Listen for the sound of hissing or whistling. Number 2, sight. Look for dead or discolored vegetation in an otherwise green area. And number 3, smell. It's hard to miss. Be on the lookout for a pungent odor like rotten eggs. If you notice any of these signs, leave the area immediately and call 911. For more information, go to csu.org.
The moment you call McDevitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
Colorado Springs Utilities serves electric, gas, water, and wastewater. If you combine all 4 services, you're paying around 11% less than anybody else on the Front Range. Water is the only one of our 4 services where you pay more. Since we have no river systems of our own, more than 70% of our water comes from Colorado's West Slope. Colorado Springs Utilities has delivered all 4 of these services safely, reliably, and at the best value to you for the last 100 years, and we will continue to do that long into the future.
Sean St. Jacques, Carmen Boquin back here with you. How good was that? Just the USL Championship at its very best here at Widener Field tonight. San Antonio wins it at the death over Colorado Springs to keep their playoff hopes very much alive going into their final 2 games of the season. Well, we look at the moment of the match first. Critical moment brought to you by Common Spirit Health. It's a Switchbacks moment, of course. They're the home side. Rocha with the goal.
Yeah, it was great. Rocha finally being able, after so many shots and shots on target, to put himself in that position. Great shot coming from the right flank, and then Rocha just impossible there for Cisniega.
And again, the Switchbacks player of the match is Aiden Rocha, brought to you by Groom Transportation. But it was San Antonio who had the last laugh. Let's take a look at the full-time highlights brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. 68th minute. Widener Field's favorite moment from tonight's match. It's the Rocha opener.
Yeah, we just saw exactly what happened, but before that, until here, it was all possession, shots, corner, shots on target. Everything was on the Switchback side. Then a few changes and substitutions came into the San Antonio side after that goal from Rocha and the great assist from Maraca at minute 69. And something changed and a different aura came in, and 10 minutes later, this happened.
Colorado Springs were convinced they should have had a foul at one end. San Antonio, give them credit. They kept on playing, and the substitute Hugo Mabongu found the equalizer.
You know, the keys for the game was 1 to forget and 1 to be better during the 90 minutes. I think it went the other way around. They forgot what they had to do, and it was in terms of don't complain, just stand up and go, because that's the way that they ended up conceding the level of the match that came from Mbongu, and after that, it was just a thing of surviving, and they didn't either.
Mabangu nearly gave San Antonio the lead here.
Yes, through that. It was a big save from Christian Herrera. And then, just like the way that the first goal came for San Antonio, with them complaining of a possible fall in the box, it also happened with that thing with Tejada and who was it, who wasn't. Those 5 minutes changed it all.
Great save here. How many did he have? Pablo Cisniega was fantastic.
He ended up with 5, and those 5 saves were totally amazing. One was an interesting header, and then this one.
This was the moment that Lucho wanted to have back. He'd get a second chance, but I think some of us still can't believe he didn't score this.
Yeah, I think he owned it to himself in scoring 1 goal. That celebration for the second one for San Antonio meant, oh my God, what did I fail? I needed to bring this one back so it wouldn't seem that bad on him.
Switchbacks kept pushing. To be fair, this was Zandy's best chance.
Yes, and nobody could ended up getting that ball. At the end, it was, again, Cisniega just catching the ball and keep it in place. But this was not the end. Next play, something happened.
And after he missed the, well, let's just say it, a sitter earlier in the game, we get to see the magical moment from Lucho.
He just took advantage of a mistake made by one of the players that did such a great job throughout, Dylan Pierre. That deflection on him, just, that's unlucky, that's misfortune, but also it's the good possibility and the good moment that a player like Lucho Solignac was able to just get the ball and, go back to the hero that he was intended to be after the 1v1 that he ended up failing.
His 6th goal of the season is enough. When you look at the Groom Transportation full-time stats, 23 shots for the Switchbacks, 7 on target. They had almost 70% possession, but this time of the year, it only matters what the goal-scoring tally is.
It's incredible. You can have the ball, you can create all the chances, but then, you go to an opponent that is direct and you end up getting another win. Well done by San Antonio. Challenge for both of them, but they prevail.
We look, before we leave you, at the Western Conference table. San Antonio now just 1 point back of the final playoff spot. Remember, Phoenix playing right now against Oakland. That's one worth to keep an eye on. But Alan Marcina's side stay very much alive in the mix for a playoff spot in the USL Championship. An epic ending to an epic game here at Widener Field this evening is the reason why San Antonio still have life in this incredible postseason chase in the USL Championship. Lucho Solignac is the hero at Widener Field, and San Antonio steal all 3 points against Colorado Springs, and they stay unbeaten for a 13th consecutive time against Colorado Springs. For Carmen Boquin and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from Widener Field. My goodness, what a game!
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.